Hey, I've got you. Your body is tired, yet your mind is still trying to solve something. Maybe you recognize that moment at the end of a school day. The laptop is finally closed. The classroom is quiet. And for the first time all day, there is nothing demanding your attention. You sit down with a cup of tea or settle onto the couch, expecting the relief that usually comes when the workday ends. Instead, your mind drifts back through the day. A small voice begins quietly suggesting things you might still need to do. Perhaps tomorrow's lesson could be improved, or there's an email you forgot to send. Have you noticed how easily the mind moves in that direction, even when your energy is gone? Teachers who care deeply about their students often carry a sense of responsibility that follows them home. If resting sometimes feels uncomfortable when work is still waiting, you are not the only teacher who experiences this. It is easy to interpret that feeling of guilt as a personal failure. You might quietly think, maybe I'm just not disciplined enough. Or other teachers probably work harder than I do. But the guilt you feel when resting is rarely about laziness. More often, it reflects how deeply you care about doing the job well. Teaching is one of the few professions where the work never really finishes. There is always another lesson to plan, feedback to write, or a student who could benefit from a little more attention. Over time, your mind learns that your effort matters. It recognizes that what you do in the classroom can influence a child's day, sometimes even their confidence or direction. So when you finally sit down to rest, the mind can misread that moment and begin scanning the day again. It revisits the lessons that felt uncertain, the conversation you wish you had handled differently, or the email you forgot to send. The mind is trying to protect the work that matters to you. When you see it that way, the guilt begins to look less like failure and more like evidence that you care. One helpful way to understand this experience is to notice the voice that appears inside your head. You know the one. The voice that reviews the day and quietly evaluates your performance. Sometimes it sounds quite harsh. It might replay a lesson that went badly or remind you about something you forgot to do. Many teachers assume that voice is simply the truth, yet it is really just the thinking mind doing what it has been trained to do. The mind narrates, reviews, and comments, and at times that commentary can feel relentless. A small strategy that can help is naming the inner critic. You might give that voice a playful title, something like Professor Perfect or Naggy Nancy. When the criticism appears, you simply notice it and think, there goes Professor Perfect again. It sounds simple, yet it creates distance. The voice criticizing you is not who you are. It is just a thought passing through. When you see it that way, you realize the thought can appear without needing to be followed. This is where a little gentle control becomes possible. Not control in the sense of shutting down every thought. That's not how the mind works. Thoughts will continue to appear, especially for teachers who care deeply about their students. But you can change how you respond when those thoughts arrive. Maybe you've experienced this moment. You're sitting on the couch in the evening and suddenly your mind says, "Oh, you should open the laptop again." Instead of immediately reacting, pause, notice the thought, and perhaps smile slightly and say, there's Professor Perfect again. That small amount of recognition can interrupt the loop. Then you might ask yourself a quiet question. What would I say to a colleague who felt this way? Imagine a fellow teacher telling you they had a difficult lesson today and now feel really bad about it. You wouldn't tell them they were useless. You wouldn't tell them to stay up all night to fix everything. You might say something kinder. "Wow, that sounds like a tough day. Tomorrow's a whole new day with another chance." Self-compassion works the same way. It is simply treating yourself with the same understanding you would offer a friend. You don't need to silence every critical thought. You just don't need to treat it like the final authority. And often, that small shift is enough for the pressure to soften. There is another reason this feeling appears so strongly in the evening. Think about what your mind is doing during the school day. You are constantly moving. Students are asking questions. Lessons are unfolding. There are transitions, playground duties, conversations in the hallway, and decisions happening every few minutes. Your brain is incredibly busy managing all of that. During the day, there is almost no space for emotional processing. But when the day finally falls quiet, the mind begins to review what happened. Your mind is not attacking you, it is reviewing the day. Sometimes it revisits a conversation with a student. Sometimes it replays a moment when the class became noisy. Sometimes it wonders whether you explained something clearly enough. And alongside that review process, another belief often appears. The idea that rest must be earned. Many teachers quietly believe they should only relax once everything is finished. But in a profession like teaching, everything is never finished. Rest is not something teachers earn once every task is complete. Rest is what allows you to keep going. When the brain rests, it consolidates information, regulates emotions, and resets attention. Without that recovery time, the mind keeps trying to solve problems because it never receives the signal that the workday has ended. Without rest, the energy that fuels good teaching slowly disappears. So if you've been feeling guilty about resting lately, I want to offer you a different perspective. This experience is far more common than you might realise. Teachers who care deeply about their career often carry a powerful sense of responsibility. That responsibility can quietly follow you home, sitting beside you on the couch or whispering in your ear late at night. But not every moment needs to be solved tonight. Some lessons will make more sense tomorrow. Some conversations will settle once you've had time to rest. And some thoughts simply pass when you stop fighting them. What matters is that you continue showing up with care and curiosity. So let me ask you a small, reflective question. What moment from this week has your mind been holding on to? Just noticing that moment without judging yourself for it is already a powerful step. Because teachers do not need to be perfect to make a difference. They simply need the strength to keep going and the kindness to let themselves rest. Sometimes, when the mind keeps pushing you to keep working like this, it isn't really about the tasks at all. Sometimes the mind is quietly searching for reassurance. Reassurance that you are doing enough, that your students are learning, that you are becoming the teacher you hoped you would be. That quiet question, the one many teachers carry but rarely say out loud, shh, am I doing enough? It can drive a lot of the pressure we place on ourselves. Understanding that question can change the way we relate to our work. If this experience resonates with you, I have created a longer session where we explore the bigger picture of teacher burnout and recovery. It's called 9 Burnout Hacks Every Teacher Needs, where I walk through practical resets for the exact patterns that quietly wear teachers down. I'm the lead teacher. I've got you.